You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
Hi, Dagogo here, and welcome to the final episode of the rise and fall of Nokia. It's been an amazing journey so far. We've travelled from the 1800s to the year 2006, looking at Nokia's history and how they rose to power. Thanks for joining me thus far. In today's final episode of the series, we'll be taking a look at how Nokia fell. The story of Nokia's decline starts badly but ends up terrible. As you'll soon see, the company succumbed to a wolf in sheep's clothing. Let's begin. In the mid-2000s, Nokia's N series was the flagship product line. The N95 was a case in point. It had all the makings of a modern smartphone, just the wrong type of human-machine interaction. The series received a generally positive reception until the industry was shaken in 2007. The major blow to Nokia arrived when Apple released the iPhone. It was a phone with a full touch interface, much like the LG Prada before it. But the difference with Apple's product, and the secret to its success, was the capacitive touchscreen display and desktop roots in its OS. Suddenly, the N95 didn't look so impressive anymore, and the very next year, the game was about to change again. Google released their first Android phone, and the famous battle of the smartphone OSs had begun. However, Nokia did actually respond with the old touchscreen 5800 Express Music phone. It was a commercial success and was largely praised for its supplied stylus and a low price, but it was actually viewed negatively by critics for its poor software implementation. So great, here we have Nokia responding to Google and Apple, right? So where did it all go wrong? How did Nokia fall? Well, hold on to your hats, people, because what you're about to hear is the real employee inside information that you will not get anywhere else on YouTube. A special thanks to the Wall Street Journal for this one. The first set of inside information we get is from former Vice President and Chief of Design at Nokia, Frank Nuovo. He was at this position during Nokia's glory days and resigned in 2006 when the management changed. This is Nuovo speaking. I look back and I think that Nokia was just a very big company that started to maintain its position more than innovate for new opportunities. He continues, all of the opportunities were in front of Nokia, and they were working on them, but the key word was a sense of urgency. There was a real sense of just saying, we'll get to that eventually. For example, Nokia had prototype 8-inch tablet computers years before the iPad even emerged. Okay, so we see that Nokia was a bit slow to move, but that couldn't really be all. Let's take a deeper look into Nokia's mindset. This is actually pretty incredible. Nokia's engineers stated that the iPhone was way too expensive to manufacture and only worked on 2G networks, primitive when compared to Nokia's 3G technology. They scoffed as the iPhone didn't even come close to passing Nokia's rigorous drop tests. It seems funny today, but it's almost understandable from Nokia's point of view back then. Despite this, the iPhone ended up selling like hotcakes. And by 2008, Nokia's executives realized that matching Apple's slick operating system amounted to their biggest challenge and their number one priority. So internally within Nokia, one team tried to revamp Symbian, the aging operating system that most Nokia phones ran, and another effort, eventually dubbed MeeGo, tried to build a new system from the ground up. People involved in both efforts say that the two teams competed with each other for support within the company and attention from the top executives. It was a problem that plagued Nokia's R&D operations. As the saying goes, anything that's divided internally will never succeed. As Alistair Curtis, Nokia's chief designer from 2006 to 2009 put it, you were spending more time fighting internal politics than doing design. Key business partners were also frustrated as well. The chief executive of chip manufacturer Qualcomm, Paul Jacobs, started working with Nokia in 2008. His main complaint was that Nokia really took too much time when working on strategies. This is a quote from Mr. Jacobs. We would present to Nokia a new technology that to us would seem a big opportunity. But instead of diving into this opportunity, Nokia would spend a long time, maybe 6 to 9 months, assessing the opportunity. And by this time, the opportunity just often went away. The real problem was that Nokia's management just couldn't steer the huge multinational company quickly enough. They seemed to just keep throwing money at the problem instead of innovating through it with wisdom. Even jumping over to Android seemed like a short-term solution, a shortcut. Nokia's smartphone division management, Asi Van Jockey, dismissed the idea of Android as peeing in your pants for warmth in the winter. Ouch. In 2010, Canadian Stephen Elop took over the helm. A bit of his history first. In 2005, he worked for Macromedia, which got bought by Adobe during his time as CEO, and from 2008 to 2010, he worked for Microsoft, working on Microsoft Office products. At the time of Elop's arrival, Nokia was spending $5 billion on research and development. That's 30% of the entire mobile industry's total. Yet, it remained far from launching a legitimate competitor to the iPhone. However, Nokia did release the N8 and N900, both good attempts, but it was still clear that Nokia was struggling to focus on useful R&D. Mr. Elop had had enough. He sifted through data and visited labs around the world to personally terminate projects that weren't core priorities. As it turns out, the organisational structure of Nokia was also extremely convoluted. In 2010, for instance, Nokia was hashing out some details of software that would make it easier for outside programmers to write applications that could work on any Nokia smartphone. At some companies, such decisions might be made around a conference table, but in Nokia's case, it was a nightmare. According to some inside attendees at the meeting, this is how it went down. 100 engineers and product managers from different offices as far as Massachusetts and China were all called into a hotel venue in Germany. Over 3 days, Nokia employees sat down and jotted notes. Meanwhile, representatives of MeeGo, Symbian and other operating systems within Nokia all struggled to make themselves heard. As one person recalls, people were just trying to keep their jobs. Each group was accountable for delivering the most competitive phone. As you could see from this situation, it was pretty much cutthroat, dog eat dog, not a good environment. However, out of these meetings, 2 OSs emerged. A new version of Symbian, a successor to the old Symbian OS, and MeeGo, a promising software that finally arrived in the Nokia N9. Although MeeGo was a pretty good attempt and was a great step in the right direction, it was too little too late. The App Store was severely undeveloped at a time when Apple and Google's app stores were rocket shipping off. Unfortunately, it was all fruitless as the MeeGo operating system was discontinued in 2012. In February 2011, Stephen Elop and Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer jointly announced a major partnership between Nokia and Microsoft, which would see Nokia adopt Windows Phone as its primary platform of future smartphones, replacing both Symbian and MeeGo. Nokia unveiled the first Windows Phone 7 devices on October 26 in 2011. They were the Lumia 710 and Lumia 800, which was quickly followed by the Lumia 900. In April 2012, while Nokia's internal divisions were squabbling, Samsung overtook Nokia as the largest phone manufacturer in the world. In 2013, Nokia introduced the 925, which is a slimmed-down version of the 920, also incorporating an aluminium design. After this, Nokia went on to release the Lumia 1020. This phone was all about the camera, a 41 megapixel shooter with the Symbian-based 808 PureView technology. The phone did receive critical acclaim for its camera and general design and performance. Unfortunately, there was still the problem of apps. You see, the Windows marketplace used in Windows Phone devices wasn't exactly that vibrant. Quality app developers were slow to get on board the platform, and this ultimately hurt Nokia. Although the Lumia series was doing better than BlackBerry, Nokia still made an operating loss of 115 million euros, with revenues falling 24% during the second quarter of 2013. But looking at the bigger picture, it's even worse. Since 2011, Nokia sustained 4.1 billion euros worth of operating losses. By this stage, the game was pretty much over. The ship was sinking, and the Windows platform wasn't providing much of a lifeboat. Nokia as a company was under a bit of pressure.
Finland's a beautiful device that is making its appearance in Finland for the first time as this show airs. But as for future products,
928, when is it coming out?
I'll say a couple things about future products.
I can do one thing. I have an iPhone.
Oh, how embarrassing!
I don't want to have an iPhone. I want to.
Look, I can take care of that for you right here. There you go.
I want to have a Nokia phone.
It's gone.
I want to have a Nokia phone because I believe in you and I believe in Nokia.
Yes.
But I want to have that Lumia 928. When do I get it?
So let me tell you what we're doing in the future.
But tell me before that. When do you?
I will not. Sorry, can't answer those questions.
On the 3rd of September 2013, Microsoft announced that it would acquire Nokia's mobile phone division in a deal totaling $7 billion. Stephen Elop would also step down as Nokia's CEO and rejoin Microsoft as the head of devices. But the question is, was this a conflict of interest for Elop? Was there a dark side behind this move? As it turns out, this sadly may have been the case. It is reported that Elop got an €18.8 million bonus after he sold Nokia to Microsoft and stepped down as CEO. What's more is that this agreement was only made on the same day as the announcement. Was Elop's shaky CEO position in Nokia just a part of Microsoft's plan to enter the smartphone game all along? We may never know for sure. In October 2014, the burial had begun. Microsoft officially announced that it would phase out the Nokia brand in its promotion of the Lumia smartphones. It would now be known as Microsoft Lumia. And this sadly was the end of Nokia as a brand. Maybe in some distant time, in some throwback, nostalgic way they could come back, but right now, this really does look like the end of the trail for an absolutely amazing company. So, throughout history we've seen the same thing over and over again. Like Palm with WebOS, or Intel with mobile internet devices, or even Xerox with the graphical user interface. It's been repeatedly demonstrated that being the first to a good idea is no guarantee of commercial success. So, I put it to you, what do you guys think of the demise of Nokia? Do you think that Mr. Elop was guilty of purposely selling Nokia for his own personal gain or the gain of Microsoft? I think this may be a very interesting comment section. So broadening our field of view, let this be a lesson to any of us that are thinking of ever running a business. Be diligent, be very aware of your competitive surroundings, and most of all, be prepared to swallow your pride in order to usher in a positive change. And to leave a positive spin on things, this multinational company started from just one man's paper mill and lasted for over 100 years. So it just goes to show, if you do what's right, you can do a lot. Hey guys, DeGogo here, and I just want to thank you for watching the whole way through my rise and fall of Nokia video. It's quite an interesting story when you think about it from start to finish. Quite a lot of stuff went down throughout Nokia's history, so it's quite interesting. So yeah, if you're new here, take a look around. There's a few other videos that are quite interesting, and also if you want to share this video, feel free. I'm sure there's some other people out there that would be quite interested in the whole business idea behind why Nokia fell, or you know, just any other interesting things about technology they may be interested in. So yeah, that's all from me. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up, and I'll catch you again soon for the next video. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.
Cold Fusion. It's new thinking.